And no, it was just my friends who work in radio at different locales around the country who were so excited to share bad news, because there's one thing people love, all people. Doesn't matter what political party you have, you love to share bad news. And so the story made the rounds, and this was a story, the fearless leaders of Los Angeles County are planning to keep the house arrest orders in place for an extended 3-month period. That story headline was all over the internet. So it essentially means say goodbye to the California summer, at least in L.A. And then Gavin Newsom made some comments, the governor of California, that also people interpreted as a sign that this is not going well as far for those of us that think that this should be opened up and sports should come back. The other side is very excited because you're getting what you want. Everything's shut down. Commerce is shut down still for the most part. And so once this made the rounds, then and people were want to get my reaction, really just wanted to bust my balls. They didn't really care about my reaction, wanted to kick me in the nuts. And so then the politicians, some of them attempted to put the toothpaste back in the tube. Now, if you've ever tried to take toothpaste out of a tube and then put it back, it's very difficult. I know there's some YouTube videos where people have pulled it off, but they have to cut the whole thing open, and no, it's messy. So they did attempt to try to walk back from that a little bit, but many people are skeptical of what their real intentions and their ulterior motives are. And so there is a growing belief, now that is a weasel term, but it is accurate here. There's a growing belief in the sports industry that professional sports teams are going to have to relocate, that the leagues that are going to come back, if this actually does go forward, we get the Major League Baseball season played and the rest of hockey and the rest of basketball, if that does take place, that the California teams will be persona non grata if the shutdown by politicians continues in the Golden State. And so this has led to speculation of a mass migration of professional sports teams leaving California. So I wanted to talk about that angle of the story. I think it's an interesting angle, and it's something that we've danced around over the last couple of months, but let's get into it right now. So the question, what are the chances that at least some of the California professional sports franchises are forced to relocate if they want to play sports professionally in America circa 2020? Now, I'm going to set the odds on this at minus 300. And I think I'm actually being reasonable here and that implies a 75% chance, if you're not a gambler, that we see teams leave California in the next few months because they just can't play here because of the politics in California. So my view, you've got the Plymouth station wagon, sweepstakes, and the false flag. And we will connect all of this together. Now, first of all, I can go on my little soapbox here and get on my bully pulpit and rant and rave about the politicians in the People's Republic of California, but I don't know that you really want to hear that. There's a long line of people that want to do that, so I don't need to do that per se. This is a sports radio show, but it's the sports leagues that are really going to call the shot here. They're going to end up reopening, and then it's really they say, we want to play, and then they go to the leaders politically and say, okay, you're going to allow us to play, and then they even without fans, there's talk that I'm hearing that they're not going to allow games in certain parts of California. So listen, if it gets to that point, I think it will get to that point that not all of sports is going to be shut down, whether baseball works out a deal or hockey or basketball. Some of these teams are going to be coming back to play professional sports that are located in California. And so the league is going to be forced to take action based on what the politicians do. And even though it would suck for me as someone that loves sports, and I am based, that we do the show from Los Angeles, this to me appears inevitable. And this is another one of those things, based again right now, this can all change tomorrow, but as we are talking right now, this seems like it is a guarantee. Just like someday we're going to die and we got to pay taxes, and that's just the way it is. And so this is the reality, right? This is the reality. Major League Baseball would like to start playing around July 1st if they can work out some harmony among the players. Should King Gavin Newsom and the cronies there politically in California mandate that sports are not allowed back until August or September or whatever, then the Dodgers, Angels, Padres, Giants, Athletics would all immediately pack up the Plymouth station wagon and relocate. Now, it seems most likely, I was texting some people that work in baseball, that they think the assumption is they're just going to go to Arizona. That's easy. They all have spring training facilities in Arizona. course, there are problems. It's not perfect. I guess it's good news for our friends who are listening in Phoenix. I have some relatives that live in the Phoenix area, that they go from one team, the Diamondbacks, to having 6 professional teams under this. It's logistically a slight problem because you have this thing called the Sahara Desert. So when you pack up your Plymouth station wagon and relocate, you better make sure the air conditioning is working. And all those spring training complexes don't have roofs. So you're going to have to play only night games, or you're going to have to play, after 8 o'clock, I would think, roughly. Certainly, I don't think you can start at 7. I think you got to push it back to 8. The Diamondbacks have the dome. I'm assuming they would try to accommodate some more games in the stadium there to play day games when the Diamondbacks are supposedly the road team and things like that. Logistically, they have to work that out. But I think it would be cool if, the Dodgers went to Vegas. They got that cool minor league stadium in Vegas, which I think is the A's AAA team. They could hang I'd rather go there. I mean, no fans can go, but wouldn't you rather be in Vegas? Assuming they're opening up Vegas. But Major League Baseball, whatever happens, they're just going to have to relocate teams. If we get to that position, the players are going to have to deal with that as well. And state-sponsored MLB Network says that baseball does not consider this a major obstacle to bring back the sport, because they'll just move the teams. If California doesn't want to have teams, they'll just move the teams out of California, which I think is the right thing to do. Now, secondly, the NFL comes in. So you say, well, the NFL's not till September. We got a lot of time. It's down the road. Well, not really, because Roger Goodell, I'm assuming he's not driving a Plymouth station wagon. He's got a Bentley, and so he's driving his Bentley. He stopped at the intersection. Okay, he's at the intersection right now, and he wants to see a green light, but he sees a red light. And that's what you're getting if you're the NFL. You're seeing a red light, and you're like, well, wait a minute. We only have 3 teams left in California. You got the 49ers, Rams, and the Chargers. And they got that new stadium in the hood in Inglewood that they're supposed to be opening up. So if California is on the fence, then the NFL is going to have to make a decision. Because training camp opens up in July. You say, well, it's got a lot of time. Well, if you have training camp the way it's planned out, mid-July to late July, teams start showing up to training camp. The first exhibition games are in August, and it's already mid-May. So you do the math. And you're like, well, wait a minute, that's 2 months away, and if you can probably wait a few more weeks, but at least a month out, you're going to have to figure out a battle plan. We're hearing rumors that NFL teams have already put out feelers to different locales to hold training camp, the California teams outside of California, because of the politics involved in this shutdown, that California is certainly lagging behind many other states that have started to open up. And so my advice, though, I got an idea here. So if the NFL is going to relocate, baseball has built-in infrastructure in Arizona for spring training, so that's most likely what they're going to do. But the NFL does not. There's no other minor league situation in the NFL. They don't believe in that. So if you have to extract the 49ers, Rams, and Chargers out of California, part of a mass exodus, if you will, from the not-so-golden State, my recommendation would have a sweepstakes-like situation. Think of this in terms of like Keno. And you have all the cities that are interested in hosting these 3 teams, and you have them submit bids. So whether it's Oklahoma City, Salt Lake, St. Louis wants an NFL team back, just not the Rams, Louisville, Peoria, I don't care, Sheboygan, Punxsutawney, Buffalo, Rochester, go down the list, Birmingham, Little Rock. We can have Tracy in Arkansas get the Rams playing in his backyard, right? Any of that. Put them all in a hopper, and then on a live television spectacle, have Roger Goodell select like ping pong balls. All right, congratulations, the Chargers. You're going to El Paso. Hope you enjoy El Paso. The 49ers, you really won big. You're going to Honolulu. How about that? That's right. We'll even put you on a boat to Honolulu. And the Rams, well, I'm sorry, Rams. You're going to Boise. It's the Boise Rams. How about that one? All right, final thought. So I want to go back to the broader conversation here about the main complaint that I've heard from people about sports coming back. The NBA, hockey, baseball, whatever. Heard this about the UFC. And a lot of people get on their high horse here and say, it's just not right. Listen, this is wrong. How are they getting all these tests? How are they getting all these tests? And people are upset. And this is something that keeps getting repeated over and over again. Nobody really checks to see what's going on here. But if you look around, and I did some research on this, and there are more than enough tests right now available. There's this misnomer that there aren't enough coronavirus tests and that the sports leagues are getting them somehow illegally here, and the unwashed common people can't get them. This is known as a false flag situation. All right, because I hate to be the bearer of bad news here and upset these screaming banshees that are out there, but there are, according to multiple reports, far more tests available than are needed at this time. And as a result of that, my evidence here, that test sites in multiple states around the country have actually closed up. They've already closed up because there aren't people coming to get tested. And we have also seen hospitals furlough doctors and nurses. Think about that. In the middle of a pandemic here, where doctors and nurses are being furloughed, you would think, why would you possibly do that? Well, a lot of the hospitals are empty because people aren't going in to get screened for different illnesses and get treated and have surgeries that are not essential. And so you have a case where you don't really need all these doctors, you don't need all these nurses because there's not a ton of people overwhelming the hospitals with the coronavirus and all that. I know a lot of stuff goes against popular opinion, but the idea that sports can't come back because there's not enough tests and the league should not get tests is just not true. At this time, it is absolutely not true, and people keep repeating it over and over again. I want to bang my head against the wall till it bleeds and pull my eyeballs out when I keep hearing this stuff. It's not true. Get repeated over and over again.